Coronavirus Shutdown 2020. Osby Show edition. Pandemic of a disease prevalent over a whole country or the world. 165 A.D. Antonine Plague. Death toll 5 million. Cause smallpox or the measles. Affected areas: Asia Minor, Egypt, Greece, and Italy. 541 to 542 A.D. The Plague of Justinian. Death toll 25 million. Cause bubonic plague. Affected area: the Byzantine Empire and half the population of Europe. 1346 to 1353, 7 years. The Black Death Plague. Death toll 75 to 200 million. Cause bubonic plague. Affected area: Europe, Africa, and Asia. So basically, through research, plagues and pandemics been here since the beginning of time. So my question is, how do you tell if it's biochemical warfare versus a natural disaster? 1852 to 1860, 8 years. Third cholera pandemic. Death toll 1 million. Cause cholera. Affected areas: the Ganges River Delta, Asia, Europe, North America, Africa, Great Britain. 1889, 1890, flu pandemic. Death toll 1 million. Cause influenza, aka Asiatic flu or the Russian flu. Subtype H2N2 and or H3N8. Affected areas: Central Asia, Northwestern Canada, and the Greenlands. 1910 to 1911, the sixth cholera pandemic. Death toll 800,000 plus. Cause cholera. Affected area: India, Middle East, North Africa, Eastern Europe, and Russia. 1918 to 1920, flu pandemic. Death toll 20 to 50 million. Cause influenza. Affected areas: the globe. Infecting a third of the world's population. 1956 to 1958, the Asian flu. Death toll 2 million. Cause influenza. H2N2 subtype. Affected areas: China, Singapore, Hong Kong, and the United States. So is there any correlation between elections and re-elections and radiation omissions for certain types of pandemics? 1968, flu pandemic. Death toll 1 million. Cause influenza, aka the Hong Kong flu. H3N2 subtype. Genetic offshoot H2N2 subtype. Affected areas: Hong Kong, Singapore, Vietnam, India, Australia, Europe, and United States. 1981 is peak. 2005 to 2012. HIV and AIDS pandemic. Death toll 36 million. Cause HIV, AIDS. Affected areas Congo, Sub-Saharan Africa, and global. So we also have the West Nile of 1999 to 2001. I'm not sure would that be considered as a pandemic or is that an outbreak, but the death toll was only 284. Cause was basically we talking about mosquitoes. Affected areas was only in New York City and I don't know if that was the origin. And then we have SARS. SARS was basically in 2002, 03. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, death tolls 800. That also was that was a coronavirus. Affected areas was China and worldwide. And then we have the avian flu, the H1N1, the bird flu, and the swine flu of 2008 to 2010. The death tolls were anywhere from 151,000 to 575,000. That was a form of cause was influenza affected areas, Mexico and worldwide, of course. And then we have MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, 2012. Death tolls 800. That also was a coronavirus. The affected areas was the Saudi Arabia and worldwide. And then, of course, we have Ebola that came through. And then that was 2014, 2016. And then we have the death tolls at 11,310. Cause, we're not sure if that was influenza, coronavirus, or whatever that was. The affected area was the Congo and worldwide. And then we have, excuse me, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Zika. The death tolls, no, I don't think there was no death tolls. You just had severe fever. And then now we have, of course, the coronavirus. Since 1853 to 1907, there's been 14 recessions, 5 of those being a panic recession. Since 1910 and 1982, there's been 17 recessions, 1 being a panic recession, 1 depression, and 1 Great Depression. A total of 32 recessions from 1853 to 1982, averaging a recession every 3 years. 1990 to 91 marks another recession, but there wouldn't be another recession until 2001. No wonder the 90s was a golden era. Man, I was a teenager in the 90s. No wonder we had such a great time, man. Hip hop was going on. I mean, we used to we had so much fun, man. So now it's kind of understandable. We went 10 years without any recession, man. That's man, that's great. So right now, 2001, oh, I remember that as well, man. 2001, that's when I started my business. I'm celebrating 20 years. Man, it's crazy how the recessions do make you step up and be creative and think outside the box. And then in 2007, 2009, that's when I released my first book as well. So I guess subconsciously as humans we learn to adapt and evolve the recession. So I guess that's the same thing we have to do in 2020. We have to make sure that we be creative and be strong and evolve. And it gets greater later.